Today I wanted to talk about the 2/22/22 portal that we're in. We've been in it, through the month of February, basically. And, the 2/22 portal every year is a very powerful portal, a beautiful time to manifest, to call in the things that we want to call in, to just like have a touch point, and a period of time where we reflect on exactly what Jess and I did. What are our intentions and where are we currently? And is there anything we can do to come back into alignment with that? I think so much of manifestation work is just awareness, having awareness around our present moment, where we are in the present moment, which is really what's important. Not this future projecting that we can kind of get lost in when we're doing manifestation work, but really coming back into alignment within the present moment and knowing that this is where the magic occurs. This present moment is where we get to make the choices to realign with our purpose, where we'd like to go, where we'd like to be, and to also reflect on maybe the things that are keeping us out of alignment, or the things that we could shift or put focus on or pour love into that are perhaps, blocking us or creating some dis-ease within our systems or our lives, where we are needing to create more ease, in that alignment, in that sort of trajectory and our every day, because I think so much of what we do, of course, is live in the past, which is, our subconscious programs that are running and our past experiences. And even in this work, I think we so often can get attached to and latch on to stories and narratives about who we are, that we're anxiously attached because, we experienced abandonment wounds in this way as children. And really what that is a story. It's a story that's on a loop that keeps repeating in our heads, that's telling us that we're unworthy of, having someone stick around, that we're unworthy of keeping things, whether it's money or relationships or people in our lives. And so that story is old. That story is in the past. It's rooted in the past. And so what we can do is acknowledge that, is, bring it to light and thank it for what it's done to sort of protect us, or try to protect us and focus on where we're at right now, the present moment, which is our bodies, which is our adult selves, which is acknowledging that, yes, that was a past experience that is in fact informing the present moment, but that right here, right now, we're adults, we're strong adults and humans in physical bodies, and we get to make different choices. We get to change the story. We get to change the narrative. It doesn't have to be the same as it was before. And so a lot of the work that I do with clients is bringing light to and acknowledging our past experiences, whether it's past life or childhood or ancestral, even stories and narratives that we can get looped into through womb work and through lower chakra work that I do with clients, but also acknowledging that now each moment is an opportunity to rebirth the way in which we show up, to rebirth ourselves, to change that story. And it's in those choices and in the present moment where it changes, where we get to work with our nervous system, work with our bodies to show and prove to ourselves that we are different, that we aren't in fact five, that part of us, that inner child, gets to be nurtured, gets to receive what it didn't receive at that time by us, that opportunity is here right now. And so that's really exciting. And then if we think about, that's the past that we can kind of get locked into and looped into, that's a way to bring it into the present moment, is when we get lost in those stories or narratives, or if we notice, that you're thinking about, it's 2/22, so you're thinking about something you want to call in, but there's a little voice that says, yeah, but that's when you pause and you say, no, there's no buts. I am so powerful right now, right here, right now. There's nothing that I need to change in order to get that. It's simply that I need to expand my awareness of what is possible. And so, and then if we think about the future, right, the future projection of being like, when I get this, I'll be happy, or this is what I want, and thinking that there's this long separation and this big separation between the present and the future. That's also untrue. That's also a story as well. So just allowing yourself to know that there are timelines in our lives that we have free will. We get to choose and to change and to decide where we want to go. We don't have a fated sort of path or pattern that we have to get locked into, this really, sort of limiting mindset of, okay, well, my parents were this way, so I'm going to be this way as well. Every single moment is an opportunity to change. And we can do that while honoring the past, while honoring the future, even though technically time doesn't exist. It's also, in our more linear human brains, this is a way to sort of reframe it, but thinking that, of course, in this present moment, you may not be exactly where you want to be in your career, in your relationship world, but knowing that in this moment, there's medicine. In this moment, there is an opportunity to change and shift your mindset, the way you're looking at things, the way you're feeling things. And so that's really the beauty of, finding that peace and that beauty in the presence of right now, right here, right now, like finding the gratitude and the little slivers of beauty and joy in being human and being alive, and having a physical body that can move and carry you and think and love and all the beautiful aspects of being human, that can taste and I know this is different for everyone depending on your circumstance, but I think that we can all agree that there's something here right now that we can really be grateful for. And so I think a lot of this Taurus North Node, Scorpio South Node shift is finding that, is like finding the balance between the material and spiritual realm, is finding that middle space between the underworld journey and the journey of this physical plane, about the real sensory and tangible parts of being human and being alive, the visceral aspects of having, the senses that we have, and melting into that. I think within presence, we find peace, we find joy, we find beauty. I think it's David Whyte, who's one of my favorite poets. I'm sure if you know me, you know that. But one of his quotes is, "Beauty is the harvest of presence." So knowing that all around us right here is everything that we need, really, truly. Finding that beauty lies within the in-between, the layers of everything we come into contact with, whether it's the light shining on a leaf or, the look of someone you love, that's here all the time. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that before we get into this sort of 222 energy and information, because, we're talking about being human right now on this planet, and it's pretty remarkable. We're experiencing a quantum leap in evolution. I know I've talked about that a lot, but when we have, a planet that's ascending and evolving and shifting in such a rapid way, it's extremely disorienting. It's disorienting to our minds, our bodies, our spirits. The only thing that really is sort of on board or sort of understands what's happening is our soul, and our soul chose, of course, to reincarnate at this time for a reason. And it's because we can do it, because we're meant to be here, and because we have medicine to bring, and we have things that we can do to help shift this world into a place that's, more beautiful and more peaceful and loving and habitable for our children, for ourselves and our children, or our children's children. So thinking about being human at this time, it's quite overwhelming. It feels like every day there's a new portal, or there's a new, unprecedented astrological transit that's happening. And I know that in itself is overwhelming, because it's like, oh my God, what am I supposed to be doing something right now? And really, like, if I can invite you to do anything, it's to be present. It's to be so present that you notice the tiny, minute details of what's happening, and presence is found in the body. Our body is an oracle. Presence is found in being literally in your body. So feeling your feet on the ground, feeling your toes and pedaling them back and forth on the ground, and just feeling that you have feet, you have legs, paying attention to where you're stepping, noticing how your feet meet the ground, the earth, reconnecting back to this planet. I was having a conversation with my boyfriend Matt this morning, and we were talking about how, I think so much of the pain and suffering on this planet is the disconnection from the mother, whether it's our childhood experience and not feeling mothered, in the way we needed to, or a disconnection from nature, from Mother Gaia, from the first mother, and so through presence, we reconnect in that way. We are look outside, and, I can look outside right now and see birds and trees, and wherever you are, there's something, she's calling to you in some way. So just knowing that, and thinking about, right now in particular, in this big shift that we're in, and this plutonic return that America is experiencing, and how we're seeing that reflected in, across the globe, and also in our, excuse me, I'm burping, so moving energy, but seeing that reflected across the globe, seeing it reflected in all of our systems, in all of the economic, political, education, healthcare, all of the systems across the boards are experiencing a reckoning. And as we have slowed down enough and received enough of a sort of like plutonic catalyst within this, even like Uranus and Taurus transit, where it's shaking us at our roots and our foundations and our level of safety, I think we're noticing more. We're noticing where there is a disconnect or a misalignment in our systems, where things aren't serving any longer. And that's our external systems. So our collective systems. So like political, education, all of them. And it's also our internal systems. So our belief systems, the patterns and the programs that run. We can't really have awareness around that or understand those systems unless we're quiet, unless we're pulled out of our normal sort of like grind and loop, that we can get into being human. It's like you do the same thing every day. You go to work, you get up, you get home, you make dinner, you watch TV, and then you go to bed. And it's so easy, right? Not all of us do that, but it's so easy to get looped and locked into those loops. And so knowing that a catalyst like COVID, for example, pulled us out of our routines, right? Pulled us out of our comfort zone. We became hyper aware of how things were operating, about the fear that's naturally embedded into this matrix that we live in, the 3D and the world, essentially, the media, things like that. And so noticing that, becoming so quiet that we can actually be present was a gift, and what we do with that now, I think, is really what's coming to surface and coming to light. And with Pluto is the underworld. It surfaces anything that needs to be highlighted or acknowledged in order for us to experience some sort of evolution, some sort of death and rebirth, some sort of like massive plutonic shift. And, plutonic events in our lives could be experiences where we are reminded of or remember a very traumatic experience from childhood, or